First of all, I'd just like to point out, you've seen my hair like this now for like 2 months. It is in the worst grow out stage ever, going from a pixie to a bob. Just felt like I needed to tell you guys that I recognize that my hair has been in this general style for weeks. It's driving me crazy, as much as it's probably not actually driving you crazy, but it's driving me crazy. So I just wanted to start with that because today's article is a little bit of a vent or a rant. I originally made this platform was just to kind of tell people, like, don't do this, do this. A little bit of a freak out. Today is kind of like that. These are the things, and this one is more for the parents, so if you ever have these experiences happen, or you're afraid that you will in the future, go ahead, forward this on to them. Hi parents, how's it going? This is your friendly neighborhood nanny, and I'm coming to you with things that your nanny doesn't want to tell you, but that are probably driving her up the wall, or him. First of all, asking me to stay late right before I should get off. I don't mind staying late. We as a people, as a group of nannies, don't mind staying late. We really don't. But don't ask us after we already are starting the countdown. And let me tell you, if we are with your kid for like 8 hours a day, we start the countdown looking forward to going home 2 hours before we leave. So if you can't tell us 2 hours before we leave that you want us to stay late, don't ask. Or you better come home with something good, like a good treat. I'll take a brownie, a cupcake, something very special to make me remind me that I still love you, because I've been counting down. Number 2, showing up at home and wanting to just hang out. I've talked about this before. It kind of drives me crazy when parents show up home early from work. Not that I don't like you, and not that it's not totally your place, because it's literally your place, like your house. It makes my job so much harder in a lot of different ways when you're just hanging out with me and the kids, because one, it makes it awkward. Like, now what do? Do I sit on the couch and do nothing and eat this bowl of snacks that I had just poured before you got in here? Or do I keep playing with the kid and you sit down and eat the snacks and watch us play? Am I supposed to make you some of the lunch that you now see me making for me and the kid? Because that's not in the contract. Or is it? Like, it just makes everything awkward, so please don't do that. If you want to just hang out after work, go to the bar, go to a restaurant, go to a friend's house, go to the gym. There is a long list of places you can go. That's not your house. I have even had parents would literally come home like a half hour early and hang out in their car. It was fantastic. They knew how hard it was for their little one to see them and not be able to totally play with them. And usually they were getting home around the time that we were trying to eat or do something kind of important, like eat or take a nap. They knew that if they walked in at that moment, it was all over. Like, it just wasn't gonna happen, and then it would ruin their night. So they also recognized that. So they just sat in the car. Do whatever you want, just don't come in the house, please. Number 3, hi, I'm RAINEY. I'm your current nanny. Please stop comparing me to your previous nanny, because I'm not them. They may have been horrible. They may have been terrible. Give me the benefit of the doubt. I'm not them. Don't compare me to your previous nanny. Or if they did fantastic things that were not in their contract and they did it for really cheap. You signed my contract. Don't compare me to them. New nanny, old nanny, new nanny. Don't compare me. Number 4, asking for my opinion, which I totally love. Honestly, I love being able to help families, especially ones with new borns, like their first kid, and they kind of are just figuring everything out as a parent and they don't really know what to do. I love when people ask me my opinion, because truth is that I've done a lot of research on how to raise a child and how to go through some of those awkward phases like tantrums and potty training, and just there's a lot that goes into raising a child, so props to parents. But I love when they ask me my opinion for things, and especially when it's in my field of like super expertise, which is organizing and being productive with little ones. When you ask my opinion, I love it. When I no longer love it is when you ask my opinion and I set things up and I give you like rules for success and just the whole package. I set everything up and make it super easy, and then I walk out of the house and you throw it all to the wayside. It's super frustrating. If you didn't want to do things, that's fine. Or if it stopped working for you, that's fine. It's just a little annoying. So if you ask my opinion and you know before you get the answer that you don't actually want the answer, or you don't actually want to put in the work to implement the answer, just don't ask, because it's really frustrating and it feels like you're wasting my time and it feels like you don't appreciate my time, so just don't ask. But if you're actually going to implement it, feel free to ask. Number 5, I always say a nanny feels like a part of the family, and I genuinely think that in a lot of cases, families try really hard to make their nannies feel as if they were an auntie or an uncle, and they try really hard to just implement us into their lives and into their family, and that's awesome. It is not okay to treat me like the help. No. It is not okay. It is super belittling. It makes me feel bad, and it makes me not enjoy my job. It's not okay. Don't make me feel like the help, and for sure, don't allow your child to treat me like the help. I've only ever had this happen once, and it ended real quick because I'm super vocal and very confident, but I had a child who said, I don't have to clean that up because mommy says that's your job. No, it is not. It is not my job to be treated like dirt. It is not my job to do things for your child. It is my job to teach them how to do them for themselves. So do not treat me like the help, because your child will see that and they will treat me like the help. And if anyone treats me like the help, this help is walking. So don't treat your nanny like the help. You should love them because they're loving your kid, so you should love and respect them. Number 6, teaching babies is so fun. I know that I sound a little bipolar in this video because I start off super happy and then I'm like super venti, but it's because it's true. I love teaching babies. I do, and I love teaching toddlers. What I don't like is when parents think that I can make their child a genius. Like, I can say that I'm going to teach your kid how to write or draw a circle, but that doesn't mean that when you come home, they're going to have this perfect little round circle on their paper, or that they're going to know how to write their name in 2 weeks. It's not like a super pet peeve, but it is a little bit frustrating when you can tell that the parents are frustrated because they don't see you working hard because they're not there when you're working, and then they don't see super fast improvement, and it's like, you know, give us some time. Like, the kid has to actually learn these things. I can't just like take what's in my head and put it in their head. I have to teach them, and kids learn at their own level, and I don't ever want a parent to feel like their kid isn't successful because they're not doing something as fast as their other kid did it, or as fast as what they see their friends' kids doing it. Don't worry about that. And it doesn't mean that you have a bad nanny. It simply means that you have a nanny that's trying her best, and you have a kid that's trying their best, and things are just going a little slower than you thought they would, but it's okay. So don't be upset. Number 7, don't micromanage. That's all. It's pretty simple. It's really hard to do, I think, but it's pretty simple. Don't micromanage, especially if you've hired a self-employed 1099 contracting nanny. You don't get to tell her a lot of things. A lot of things. And you'll see that in your contract. Like, you don't get to tell her where she can and can't go. You don't get to tell her when she can leave the house and when she can't leave the house. You can suggest or ask, but you don't get to demand or tell. And I think that a lot of parents don't feel comfortable with that. And if you're one of those that doesn't feel comfortable with that, it's okay. You should probably hire a household employee nanny, because you can pretty much tell them everything, because at that point you're with an employee-employer relationship, and so you have a lot more micromanaging ability if that's what you're into. But in general, I don't think it's super nice to micromanage your nanny because it makes them feel a little stressed, and that stress will radiate to your child, if that makes sense. So that stress that your nanny is feeling from you, your kid will feel that from their nanny. So it'll make their relationship not work very well, which means that any progress that you were hoping to see in your kid's development is going to be a little bit stunted by the fact that your nanny constantly feels uncomfortable and doesn't feel confident and like she has the ability to try new things to teach your kid. Yeah, those are the 7 top things that annoy the mess out of me as a nanny, and I'm sure annoy the mess out of your nanny. So parents, please don't do these things. Nannies, feel free to speak up. Feel free to speak up about these things. Obviously, do them very polite and respectful, and probably not word for word of what I just did, because this was just more of an open rant. But definitely feel comfortable to tell parents that they're doing these things and ask them to stop doing them, because they will make your job horrible and miserable, and nobody wants that. They don't want that, and they may not even realize that they're doing the things that they're doing, and they may not realize how it's making you feel. So feel free to speak up about that. And parents, if you have any questions or concerns, or you feel like something I said was totally out of whack, feel free to leave a comment below. I totally don't mind having an open dialogue about this, because maybe I'm missing something. Also, I'm curious if any parents that do follow me or do find this video, if you have any top pet peeves that your nanny does. I've asked families that before, like, what was your top annoyance from your previous nannies? And I get a variety of answers, and I would be super curious to see what your answers are, because I would love to do a video on that to try to stop whatever's happening from happening by shooting a video for all my nannies. So go ahead and leave comments below, you guys, and until next Friday, have a great weekend. We'll see you later.